today's video tutorial we're going to be setting up Laravel on MAMP Pro. Now if you're not sure what MAMP Pro is, it's an acronym. It stands for Mac, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. There's also WAMP for Windows and LAMP for Linux, but since we're on Mac OS Catalina, we'll be using MAMP. I've already installed MAMP Pro. This is right out of the box. I haven't set anything up or configured anything yet, so we're seeing it for the first time. Over here we have our hosts. I've set up a Laravel project and I've called it blog, and I want to use MAMP for the server environment to point to our blog project. So I'm going to go down here and click on the plus sign. Now it's important to know whatever you name this new host is going to be the URL address that we access it at later. So since I installed it earlier and I called it blog, I'm just going to name this blog. And I have to point it somewhere, so I'm going to click on the folder, and here we are. I'm in the Scriptster home directory. The root directory for the project is blog, and it's important to know that whenever you're installing a Laravel application, you need to point the host to the public folder. So I'm going to click on public and I'm going to say choose, and I should be good. So let's go ahead and create the host. And it has been created. Now if we go to blog, if we go to http://blog, nothing's going to happen now. In order for it to actually happen, we're going to click the save button, and you'll see this little toggle turn off and back on. That's Apache stopping and restarting. MySQL will probably do the same. So we'll say save. They both turned off. MySQL takes a little longer to come back up. Now in order to access the blog application, we need to know what port it's at. So by default, MAMP uses the port 8888 for Apache. So if we open up an internet browser and we go to http://blog 8888, we should see our Laravel application, and we do. So everything's working correctly. Now let's go ahead and attach our application to a database. I don't know about you, but 9 times out of 10, when I'm using Laravel for a project, I typically need a database attached. So I just clicked on my MAMP again, and it brought me here, and I'm going to go down to MySQL because I'm going to use a MySQL database. I have SQL Pro installed. It automatically recognized that, but we're just going to use phpMyAdmin for the sake of this tutorial. So you can click on this link right here, and it should automatically open up. So here we are. Now we're going to create a new database, and we're just going to name it blog. So just click on the database tab up top, and we'll call this blog and say create. And it automatically created a blog database for us, but it's saying no tables were found. For Laravel, most of the time when I'm working with Laravel, I use migrations within the Laravel application. So you don't need to create any tables yourself right here manually. We'll do that a little later on when we're creating our application. So I'm not going to use this. We will need a user to access the database. So let's go back up here to the home and user accounts. So we need to set up a user account. I'm going to click on add user. And for the username, I'm just going to use Scriptster. Hopefully you come up with something a little more creative than that. For host name, I'm choosing local, which auto-populates localhost. And for the password, I'm just going to use password. This is my local development environment. I'm not sending this into production or using it for anything important. Feel free to pick something a little more secure. Down here for global privileges, I'm just going to say check all. If you'd like me to do a tutorial later on about MySQL and privileges, user permissions and stuff like that, let me know. Leave a comment below and maybe we'll do something a little more on that. But for right now, we don't want to run into any obstructions while we're trying to develop. I'm just going to say grant all privileges, check all, and we'll go from there. And there we go. Our user account has been created. Our user has global privileges. We should be good to go. Our database is here. So I'm going to go ahead and open up VS Code. I use VS Code a lot for development. You can use any editor you want. So I'm just going to open up my project here and file open, and I'm going to choose my blog project. and open. Now, oh, that's cool. So the file we were looking for is the .env file. That's our environment file, and what we want to do is put our database information here into this file. So we can see by default the .env file is already set up for MySQL. It's already got the DB host of 127.0.0.1, which is also the same as localhost. And for the DB port is 3306. Now we know I called my database blog, so I'm going to change that to blog. My username was Scriptster, and for my password I just used password. The only other thing we want to check here for DB port. Now MAMP has some of its own preset ports, so I'm going to jump over in here. I'm going to click on ports, and for MySQL, MAMP is pre-configured to use port 8889. So let's go ahead and change the port here to 8889. And that should be it. Now our Laravel application is set up. We're using MAMP Pro. Our database has been set up, and we should be good to go. If you have any questions about any of the setup today, feel free to leave a comment in the comments below. If you run into any trouble, any snags or anything, let me know. I'll do my best to answer any questions.